Tom Hanks becomes a regular at a 2 a.m. Denny's shift in 1980, not because he's hungry, because the night manager is a former casting director who quit the industry. What happens over 6 months of late-night conversations doesn't just feed Tom. It teaches him the one thing film school never could: how casting directors actually think. This is the story of Gloria Chen, the woman who walked away from Hollywood at the height of her career, how a Denny's became Tom's real film school, how 89 nights of bottomless coffee turned into a masterclass in authenticity, and how one line, "Be aggressively yourself," became the philosophy that made Tom Hanks the most castable actor in history. Sometimes the best teachers aren't in classrooms, they're serving grand slams at 2 a.m. And sometimes the most important education happens when you stop trying to be what you think they want and start being what you actually are. Los Angeles, California, June 1980. Friday night, 1:47 a.m. Tom Hanks is driving down Sunset Boulevard in his 1973 Datsun, engine making a sound it shouldn't make. Check engine light has been on for 3 months. Tom can't afford to fix it, can barely afford gas, but the car runs. Barely. That's enough. Tom is 23 years old, been in Los Angeles for 2 years, came from Northern California, Chapultepec College, then transferred to Sacramento State, studied theater, thought he was good, thought he had something, moved to LA in 1978 to make it as an actor like everyone else. Like the thousands of wannabes who show up every year, thinking they're different, thinking they're special, thinking talent is enough. 2 years later, Tom is learning what everyone learns: talent isn't enough. Luck matters, timing matters, connections matter, being in the right room at the right time matters. And Tom hasn't been in the right room yet, has been in a lot of wrong rooms, a lot of waiting rooms, a lot of audition rooms, where he reads and they say thank you in that tone that means never calling you back. Tonight was another wrong room, another audition, supporting role in a TV pilot, comedy, the kind of role Tom should book. He's funny, he's likable, he's got timing, but the audition went badly. Tom was in his head, trying too hard, forcing it. The casting director stopped him halfway through. "Thank you. That's enough. We'll be in touch." Translation: "We won't be in touch." Next. Tom left feeling hollow, defeated, tired. Not just physically tired, soul tired. The kind of tired that makes you question everything, makes you wonder if you're delusional, if everyone who said, "Get a real job" was right, if this whole dream is just denial, dressed up as ambition. It's 1:47 a.m. Tom should go home, should sleep, has another audition tomorrow, needs to prepare, needs to rest, but he can't go home, can't face the empty apartment, can't face the silence, can't face himself, so he drives. No destination, just movement, just avoiding stillness. Then he sees it. Denny's, the one on Sunset near Gower. 24 hours, bright lights. The universal beacon of insomniacs and night shift workers and people with nowhere else to go. Tom pulls into the parking lot. Doesn't know why, just does. He walks in. The place is nearly empty. 2 a.m. on a Friday. A few people scattered in booths. Truckers, night shift workers, someone who might be homeless, sleeping in a corner booth, a waitress who looks exhausted, and behind the counter, a woman, Asian, maybe late 40s, maybe early 50s, hard to tell, short, dark hair, glasses, simple uniform, name tag, Gloria. Gloria is wiping down the counter, methodical, efficient, the movements of someone who's done this 10,000 times. She looks up when Tom walks in, makes eye contact, nods, professional, detached, the look of someone who's seen everything and is surprised by nothing. Tom sits at the counter, not a booth. The counter feels less lonely, feels like there's someone nearby, even if they're not talking to you. Gloria walks over, doesn't smile, just exists, puts down a menu. Coffee. Tom says, "Yes, please." Gloria pours. Hot, fresh. The smell cuts through Tom's fog. She sets down the cup. "You know what you want, or you need a minute." Tom looks at the menu. Everything is too expensive. He has $8 in his wallet, needs to make it last, needs to eat tomorrow too, but he's hungry. Hasn't eaten since this morning. 1 meal a day. That's the budget. Tom says, "Just the coffee. And how much is the waffle?" Gloria says, $2.50, with butter and syrup. Tom calculates, $2.50, waffle, 75 cents, coffee, $3.25 total, leaves him $4.75, enough for tomorrow, barely. Tom says, "Okay, 1 waffle." Gloria writes it down, calls it back to the kitchen, comes back, refills Tom's coffee, even though he hasn't drunk any yet, leans against the counter, studying him, not invasive, just observant. Gloria says, "Rough night." Tom looks up, surprised she's talking, surprised she cares. Most servers don't, just take orders, bring food, collect tips, move on. Tom says, "Yeah, rough night." Gloria nods. "Audition." Tom blinks. "How did you know?" Gloria says, "You have the look. Young, tired, driving around at 2 a.m. instead of going home, ordering the cheapest thing on the menu, calculating every dollar. That's the actor look. I've seen it 1,000 times." Tom says, "I'm that obvious." Gloria says, "To someone who knows what to look for." Tom drinks his coffee, doesn't know what to say, doesn't know if he wants to talk, doesn't know if he wants to be alone, stuck between both. Gloria says, "Let me guess. You went in, you tried hard, too hard. You were in your head, thinking about what they wanted, instead of what you had to offer. You forced it. They stopped you early, said thank you in that tone. The tone that means they've already decided." Tom stares. "How do you?" Gloria says, "Because I used to be on the other side. I used to be the one saying thank you in that tone." Tom says slowly, "You're a casting director." Gloria says, "Was past tense. I quit 3 years ago. Now I serve Grand Slams at 2 a.m. And honestly, I'm happier." Tom doesn't believe her, can't believe her. Who walks away from the film industry to work at Denny'S, who chooses this over that. Gloria sees his skepticism, says, "You don't believe me. That's fine. Most people don't. But it's true. I was a casting director for 15 years, started in 1962, worked on big films, real films, cast actors you've heard of, won awards, had power, had influence, had everything the industry says matters, and it made me miserable. So I quit." Tom says, "Why?" Gloria pours herself coffee, leans against the counter, tired, but present, actually present, not performing, not pretending. Gloria says, "Because I got tired of lying, tired of watching talented people destroy themselves trying to be what they think we want, tired of the system, tired of the game. So I left, and now I work here, and I sleep better, and I don't have to lie anymore." The waffle arrives. The cook puts it through the window. Gloria gets it, sets it in front of Tom, butter melting. Syrup on the side. Simple. Perfect. Gloria says, "Eat. We'll talk." Tom eats. Slowly, making it last. The waffle is good. Better than it should be. Or maybe he's just hungry. Maybe everything tastes good when you haven't eaten in 18 hours. Gloria refills his coffee. Third time. Doesn't charge for refills. Tom is grateful. The coffee is the meal. The waffle is a bonus. Gloria says, "You want to know what I learned in 15 years of casting?" Tom nods. Mouthful. Gloria says, "Casting isn't about talent. Talent is the minimum. Everyone who walks through the door has talent. Everyone. You think we're seeing untalented people. We're not. We're seeing talented people, hundreds of them, and they're all capable of playing the role. All of them. So talent doesn't differentiate. Talent is the baseline. What differentiates is fit." Tom swallows. Fit. Gloria says, "Fit. Does this actor fit this role? Not can they play it. Do they fit it? Is there alignment between who they are and who the character is? Because actors can play anything. With enough skill and effort, you can play anyone. But playing isn't being, and being is what the camera sees. The camera sees truth. It sees when you're forcing, when you're pretending, when you're not aligned. And audiences feel it. They don't know they feel it, but they do. That's why some performances work, and some don't. Not talent. Fit. Tom is listening. Really listening. This isn't advice. This is truth. Truth from someone who doesn't need to impress him, doesn't need anything from him. Gloria continues. "So when you walked into that audition tonight, you were trying to figure out what they wanted, right? You were trying to mold yourself into their expectation, trying to be the version of you that books the job. And that's the problem, because they don't want a version. They want the original. They want you, actually you, not you performing you, just you being you." Tom says, "But how do I know what me is in the context of the role?" Gloria says, "You don't think about the role. You think about the truth. What's true for this character in this moment. Not what's interesting, not what's impressive. What's true. And then you bring your truth to their truth. You don't become the character. You let the character become you. There's a difference." Tom says, "I don't understand." Gloria says, "You will. It takes time, takes failure, takes 100 bad auditions before you figure it out, but you'll get there. If you stop trying so hard, if you stop performing, if you just show up as yourself and let that be enough." Tom finishes the waffle, drinks more coffee, feels slightly less hollow, slightly less defeated. Gloria's words are landing somewhere, not fully understood yet, but landing. Gloria says, "You're going to come back here, not because the food is good, it's not, it's Denny's, but because you need to hear this. You need someone to tell you the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth every time you come in, until you either book a job or quit, one or the other, but you'll figure it out." Tom says, "Why would you do that? Why would you help me?" Gloria says, "Because I'm bored, because the night shift is long, because I spent 15 years destroying actors by not telling them the truth. So now I'm going to spend however long I have left repairing the damage, starting with you." Tom leaves at 3:30 a.m., pays his bill, $3.25, leaves $1 tip, a third of what he has left. But Gloria refilled his coffee 5 times, talked to him like a human, gave him something he didn't know he needed, worth $1. 3 nights later, Tom comes back, 2 a.m. Same seat, same counter. Gloria is there. sees him, nods, doesn't smile, just pours coffee, sets it down. Gloria says, audition? Tom says, yesterday. Went badly. Gloria says, tell me what happened. Tom tells her, the role, the scene, how he prepared, how he performed, how they responded. Gloria listens, doesn't interrupt. When Tom finishes, Gloria says, you were trying to impress them. Tom says, of course I was trying to impress them. That's the point. Gloria says, no, the point is to be truthful. Impressive is a byproduct, not the goal. When you try to impress, you perform. When you perform, you're dishonest. And they feel it. They don't know what's wrong, but they feel it. So they say thank you, and you leave, and you think you failed. But you didn't fail, you just weren't truthful. There's a difference. This becomes the pattern. Tom comes in 2-3 times a week, always between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., always the same seat, always coffee and a waffle, $3.25 every time, always a $1 tip. Gloria, always there, always waiting, always ready, with a lesson. Night 7. Stop trying to be liked. Likability is death. Be real. Real is uncomfortable. Real is flawed. Real is what people connect with. Night 15. You're playing the result. Stop it. Play the need. Play what the character wants in this moment, not what happens, what they want. The audience will fill in the rest. Night 23. Your audition is not about you, it's about them. You're solving their problem. Their problem is, who fits this role? Your job is to show them, I fit, not by trying to fit, by being so completely yourself that they can't imagine anyone else. Night 34. Casting directors remember 2 kinds of actors, the ones who are so bad, they're memorable, and the ones who are so themselves, they're undeniable. Everyone else disappears. So be undeniable. Night 42. You're hiding. Stop hiding. I can see you hiding behind technique, behind acting. Show me you. The actual you, flaws and all. That's the only version worth casting. Night 58. Stop asking, am I good enough? Start asking, am I right for this? Those are different questions. Good enough is insecurity. Right for this is clarity. Clarity books jobs. Night 67. If you're not bringing something unique to the role, why cast you? They can cast anyone. They need a reason to cast you specifically. That reason is your uniqueness, your specific way of seeing the world, your specific truth. Don't hide it. Lead with it. Night 73. You're still trying to figure out what they want. Stop. They don't know what they want. They think they do, but they don't. They want to be surprised. They want someone to walk in and show them something they didn't know they needed. Be that person. Night 81. The actors who work consistently aren't the most talented. They're the most themselves, because directors can't find that anywhere else. They can find talent. They can't find you. So be you. Aggressively, unapologetically, completely. Night 89. 6 months. Tom walks in at 2:15 a.m., sits at the counter. Gloria pours coffee, sets it down. Gloria says, you look different. Tom says, I booked something. Gloria says, tell me. Tom says, TV show, recurring role, comedy, bosom buddies. I play a guy who dresses in drag to afford an apartment. It's ridiculous, but it's a lead, real screen time. And when I auditioned, I didn't try to impress them, didn't try to be what I thought they wanted. I just was myself, made choices that felt true to me, played it honestly, and they laughed, really laughed, and they hired me. Gloria nods, doesn't smile, but something in her eyes softens. Satisfaction maybe, validation. Gloria says, "Good, you learned." Tom says, "I learned because of you, everything you told me, every night, every lesson. That's why I booked it. You taught me how to audition, how to be myself, how to stop hiding." Gloria says, "I didn't teach you anything. I just gave you permission. Permission to stop performing. Permission to be enough. You did the work." Tom says, "Still, thank you. I don't know if I would have figured it out without you." Gloria says, "You would have, eventually. I just accelerated it." Tom drinks his coffee, quiet, grateful, then says, "The show shoots in 3 weeks. I'm going to be busy, might not be able to come here as much." Gloria says, "Good. You don't need to come here anymore. You got what you needed. Now go do the work." Tom says, "But I want to come. I want to keep learning." Gloria says, "You'll keep learning on set. You'll keep learning in auditions. You'll keep learning by doing. That's the real education. This was just the foundation." Tom says, "Will you watch the show?" Gloria says, "Maybe, if I remember, but probably not. I don't watch TV much anymore. Reminds me of the industry. And I left the industry for a reason." Tom says, "Can I ask you something?" Gloria says, "Go ahead." Tom says, "Do you regret it? Leaving casting? Walking away from all that power and influence?" Gloria is quiet, thinking, then says, "No, because power and influence didn't make me happy. It made me important, but important isn't the same as happy." Here, at 2 a.m., serving coffee and waffles, talking to struggling actors, telling them the truth, instead of the lies the industry requires. This makes me happy. This feels aligned. This feels right. So no regret, just gratitude that I figured it out before I wasted my whole life on something that wasn't mine. Tom says, "That's what you've been teaching me. Alignment." Gloria says, "Yes, alignment. Between who you are and what you do. Between your truth and your work. When those align, everything gets easier. Not easy, but easier and more honest. And honesty is what the camera sees, what audiences respond to, what books jobs. So stay aligned, even when it's hard, even when the industry pushes you to be someone else. Stay aligned. That's the only career advice that matters." Tom leaves that night knowing he won't come back. Not regularly, not like before. The Denny'S served its purpose. Gloria served her purpose. The education is complete. Now comes application. Bosom Buddies airs. Runs for 2 seasons. Tom is good. Critics notice. Charming. Natural. Effortlessly likable. The words Gloria taught him to embody. Be yourself. Be aggressively yourself. It's working. Then more roles. Splash. Bachelor party. The man with one red shoe. Building momentum. Building a career. Every audition, Tom hears Gloria's voice. Be yourself. Don't perform. Find the truth. Fit matters more than talent. Years pass. Tom becomes a star, becomes beloved, becomes the actor everyone wants. The safe choice. The guaranteed good performance. Not because he's the most talented, because he's the most himself, because he stopped trying to be what casting directors wanted and started being what only he could be, aggressively himself, completely aligned. 26 years after Those 89 nights at Denny's. Tom is in Los Angeles for press, promoting a film. Late night interview finished. It's 2:30 a.m. Tom is driving, passes the Denny's on Sunset, still there, still 24 hours, still the beacon. Tom pulls in, doesn't know why, just does. Walks inside. The place looks the same, different staff, different customers, but the same energy. Insomniacs, night shifters, lost people, 2 a.m. people. Tom sits at the counter. A young waitress approaches, early 20s. Doesn't recognize him. Too young. Wasn't born when Bosom Buddies aired. She says, "Coffee." Tom says, "Yes." "And a waffle, butter and syrup." She pours, brings the waffle. Tom eats. Tastes the same. Still good, still simple, still perfect. At 2 a.m. Tom asks the waitress, "Do you know if Gloria still works here?" Night manager, Asian woman, glasses. The waitress thinks, "Gloria Chen? She retired years ago? Like 15 years ago? I heard about her. She was a legend here. Worked nights forever. Everyone loved her." Tom says, "Do you know where she is now?" The waitress says, "I heard she moved. Maybe back to San Francisco. I'm not sure. Sorry." Tom finishes his waffle, leaves $20 for a $3.25 meal, drives home, wonders about Gloria, wonders if she's alive, wonders if she knows what she did, how she changed him, how those 89 nights became the foundation of everything. Tom tries to find her, hires someone, private investigator, finds Gloria Chen, San Francisco, living in a small apartment, retired, 78 years old, alive, healthy, alone. Tom calls. The phone rings 4 times, then a voice, older, raspier, but recognizable. "Hello?" Tom says, "Gloria, this is Tom Hanks. I don't know if you remember me. I used to come to Denny's, 1980, late nights. You were the night manager. You taught me." Gloria interrupts. "I remember. Tom Hanks. Coffee and a waffle. $1 tip. 89 nights." "Of course I remember." Tom is stunned. "You remember exactly." Gloria says, "I remember the ones who listened. You listened. Most don't. But you did. So yes, I remember." Tom says, "I've been thinking about you, about those nights, about everything you taught me, and I wanted to say thank you. Properly, not just a $1 tip. Really thank you. You changed my career, my life, everything I've done. Traces back to those conversations, to you teaching me to be myself, to be aligned, to stop performing and start being truthful." Gloria says, "You did the work. I just talked." Tom says, "You did more than talk. You saw me. You saw what I was doing wrong. And you cared enough to tell me. Nobody else did that. Nobody else told me the truth. They all just said thank you and moved on. But you stayed. You taught. You gave me 6 months of education. I couldn't get anywhere else. And I want to thank you. Can I take you to dinner? Can I fly you to LA? Can I do something to show you how much it mattered?" Gloria is quiet, then says, "You just did. This call, this acknowledgement, that's enough." Tom says, "It's not enough." Gloria says, "It is for me. I didn't help you so you'd owe me. I helped you because I could, because I had knowledge you needed, because the night shift was long, and teaching you gave me purpose. You don't owe me anything. The fact that you used what I taught you, that you built a career on it, that you're calling to say thank you 26 years later, that's payment. That's all I need. Tom says, the Academy Awards, this year, will you come as my guest? Gloria laughs. Quiet, dry. Tom, I left the industry. I don't want to go back, not even for a night. The Oscars aren't for me. They're for people who care about the industry. I don't anymore. I found peace away from it. So thank you. But no, Tom says. Then let me visit. Let me take you to coffee. Let me sit with you for an hour and just talk like we used to. Let me hear how you are, what you're doing. If you're happy, Gloria says. I'm happy. Really happy. I garden. I read. I volunteer at a library. I live simply, quietly, and I like it. I don't need anything else. Tom says, did you ever regret it, leaving casting? Gloria says, never, not once. Best decision I ever made. Leaving gave me my life back, and it gave me those nights at Denny'S, those conversations with you, and actors like you. That was real. That mattered. The industry didn't, so no regret. They talk for an hour about life, about choices, about alignment, about how success isn't what the world says it is. It's what feels true to you. Gloria is content. Tom can hear it in her voice. She found her alignment, left the industry, found peace, and never looked back. Gloria dies in 2011. Tom gets a call from her niece. Gloria left something for him. In her will, a box. Small, cardboard, taped shut. Tom opens it. Inside, a Denny's menu from 1980, coffee-stained, worn, and a note, handwritten, Gloria's handwriting. The note says, Tom, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Good. I lived long enough. Got to see you succeed. Got to know my nights at Denny's mattered. I kept this menu from the first night you came in, June 1980. You ordered coffee and a waffle. You looked lost. I recognized the look. I'd seen it 1,000 times. What I didn't tell you, I almost didn't help, almost just served you, and moved on. I was tired of actors, tired of the industry, tired of caring. But something about you was different. You weren't entitled, weren't arrogant, just lost. And I thought, maybe this one deserves the truth. Maybe this one will listen. You did. You listened. You learned. You became exactly what I knew you could become. Yourself. Fully. Completely. Unapologetically. That's all I ever wanted for any actor I cast or taught. Just be yourself. The industry doesn't need more performers. It needs more people brave enough to be themselves. You were brave. You stayed brave. You stayed aligned. I'm proud of you. Not because you're famous, because you stayed true. That's harder than fame. That's the real achievement. Thank you for the 89 nights. Thank you for listening. Thank you for proving that telling the truth matters. Stay aligned, Tom. That's the only career advice that lasts. Gloria. Tom frames the menu, hangs it in his office, next to his Oscars, next to everything else that supposedly matters. But the menu matters more because it represents the education, the foundation, the 89 nights that changed everything. Whenever actors ask Tom for advice, he tells them about Gloria, about Denny'S, about 2 a.m. coffee and cheap waffles, and a former casting director who quit the industry and taught him the only lesson that mattered: be aggressively yourself. Casting isn't about talent, Tom says. It's about fit. It's about alignment. It's about being so completely yourself that they can't imagine anyone else. Gloria taught me that at 2 a.m. at a Denny's over 6 months and 89 nights. Best education I ever got. Better than film school, better than acting classes, better than anything, because she taught me the truth. And the truth is simple. Stop performing, start being. The camera sees the difference. Audiences feel the difference. That's the secret. That's everything. 89 nights. One night manager, one struggling actor, one education that created a career. Not in a classroom, not in a studio, at a Denny's, at 2 a.m., over coffee that cost 75 cents, and waffles that cost $2.50, and truth that was priceless. Gloria Chen quit the industry and became the most important teacher Tom Hanks ever had. Not because she taught him to act, because she taught him to stop acting, to be himself, to find alignment, to stay truthful. That's not a lesson. That's a life philosophy. And it started at 2 a.m. at a Denny's, with a woman who left everything to serve grand slams and speak truth. Sometimes the best teachers aren't famous. Sometimes they're serving you coffee at 2 a.m. Sometimes the most important education happens in the most unlikely places. All you have to do is show up, listen, and be brave enough to be yourself. 89 nights. One lesson: be aggressively yourself. Tom Hanks listened and became exactly that.